Welcome to Taking Stock. I'm Amanda Lang. Coming up on the show, how is Canada's biggest province grappling with an economic slowdown? And the Premier of Alberta on pipelines, trade, and Canadian spirit. Plus, a U-turn on electric vehicles might have governments rethinking subsidies for auto. That's all ahead. But first, for the week that was in business, it's time for the briefs. The minority government saw its budget pass in a narrow confidence vote this week as Green Party leader Elizabeth May supported the government and several other NDP and Conservative MPs abstained. May said her vote was in exchange for a commitment by the Prime Minister to meet the Paris Agreement climate targets. Price increases eased slightly in Canada last month, but not enough to take the Bank of Canada off the sidelines. Headline inflation was 2.2% in October, below September's rate, led by falling costs of gas and food. But inside the data, it looks worse. RBC economists calculated that almost half of consumer prices are rising at or above 3% in the past few months. The pace of new home building fell 17% in Canada in the month of October, according to housing agency CMHC. The declines were led by Ontario and BC, but starts in other areas, including Montreal, Calgary, and Edmonton, put the rate of new housing starts in positive territory this year compared to last. The Canadian government is reportedly imposing some net benefit requirements on Britain's Anglo-American for it to proceed with a takeover of Canada's tech resources. Anglo had already said it would locate its head office in Canada, but it seems the feds may want it to go further, including re-domiciling so the combined entity is a Canadian, not UK firm. If you bought into Bitcoin this year, you may now be losing money. The cryptocurrency has lost 30% of its value from its peak in October and has now given up all of the gains for the year. Competition from stablecoins could be driving uncertainty in the value of Bitcoin, which has no fundamental backstop. And those are your business briefs. New federal support should open investment flows to the province of Ontario, but will that be uneven? Daniel Tisch is president and CEO of the Ontario Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for being with us.
Hi, Amanda.
So post-budget, is there a sense that there is a change in the investment climate here? Was enough done, I guess, Daniel?
Well, on the whole, I think the budget goes in the right direction. That's what I've heard. You know, the business community likes the ambition. It likes the direction. There's some disagreement about whether it goes far enough or fast enough, but fundamentally, it delivered on a lot of priorities that we had identified as a chamber. We like the productivity super deduction, the enhanced research and development tax credits, the money for sovereign public AI infrastructure, and the new funding for venture and growth capital. So single biggest thing we have to do is help high potential businesses scale in order to assure the future of our economy and to ensure business has the right incentives to invest in productivity. So we like the signals, and the nice thing about going in the right direction is we can always track and evaluate how we're doing and push the government to do a little more and go a little faster.
You know, one of the emphasis, and Ontario is a big recipient of this for the major projects, is mines, for instance, critical mineral mines. And those can be big, labor-intensive, kind of big ticket items, Daniel, but they don't really help, somebody who's living in Aurora, Ontario, day to day. Is there enough in here? And I guess you're kind of alluding to it. Tax reform is one thing that wasn't really tackled in this budget. Is there more we could do to help businesses scale and grow and not just do those big kind of high profile targets?
Yeah, I mean, it is challenging because the reality is it took us many years to get into this productivity challenge we're in, and it'll take many years to get out, right? I mean, the solutions to that which ails Canada are very much long-term in nature. But I agree with you, and certainly that's very consistent with what we said after the budget. We'd love to see a more comprehensive top-to-bottom review of not just federal spending, but federal taxes, provincial as well, I should say, further to the fall economic statement of the province. And you're looking at all the taxes, both taxes that are charged and tax incentives and measures that reduce taxes, which are most effective at actually incentivizing gains in productivity and which are not, right? So I think that we need to do that. I think we have to look at EI modernization, certainly for workers, making eligibility simpler and faster and fairer, especially if you're in a non-traditional or seasonal or part-time work mode, which a lot of people are. Yeah. And for employers, reducing volatility of premiums. The other thing I'll say is we'd love to see continued regulatory reform and faster deployment of digital infrastructure.
All right, and just finally, really quickly, you just kind of had a summit. Are Ontario businesses feeling confident about the future right now?
Well, business confidence has gone up and down this year like a yo-yo. We've been measuring it steadily throughout the year. We got another survey in the field right now. But what's interesting is while about a third of businesses say they're confident in the economy, 61% told us that they were confident in their own business prospects and their own resilience. So we're seeing resilience in the business community, which was encouraging.
So good to have you, Daniel. Appreciate your time.
Always great to chat, Amanda. Thank you.
Daniel Tisch, President and CEO of the Ontario Chamber of Commerce. Coming up, the Premier of Alberta on major projects, provincial cooperation, and the need for growth.